Hi guys, so my name is Georgina. A lot of you probably don't remember me, but I did have a YouTube channel about 6 years ago and I was engaged at the time, so I got married. I've been married for 4 years now. I have the sweetest little boy. He's 20 months old. I'll show him to you in a minute. I stopped doing YouTube back then because I got married and then I was working. I was enjoying being married and then I got pregnant, I had a baby, so all my time, every second that I had, I wanted to give to him. I still do that. I also feel like I have progressed a lot more with my makeup skills from watching beauty gurus on YouTube and like picking up different techniques and tips from everybody. I've watched quite a few YouTubers on here and I feel like I myself have gotten a lot better than I was 6 years ago. So that's why I felt like it's something I can come back and do, and I loved doing YouTube. I really enjoyed it. It's a great hobby for me. I also did think, since I am a mum now, that I wouldn't mind doing like mum type videos as well. I can do, I was thinking of doing a birth story, which for me was quite traumatic because something almost nearly badly happened after I gave birth. So it may help some other mums out there that maybe you're not picking up on certain things that can lead to a very bad health risk at the end of it. So I thought that's something that I can do. Let me know if it's something you'd be interested in or what other types of videos you'd like to see. Just let me know. I'm more than happy to do it. I'm planning to upload like 2 videos a week is what I'm thinking. It may sometimes be 1 video a week depending on how my little boy is as well. If the lighting or sound or anything is a bit weird in this video, I apologize. It is my first one, so I'm just still trying to figure it out. So let me know what you think. This is my sweet little boy. His name is Levi. He's 20 months old. He is the sweetest baby ever. And he'll probably be in a lot of videos. You may even hear him in this one in the background. Yes, you will. Say hello. Say hi. Say hi! Hope you guys enjoy the video. Enjoy watching! I'm using the L'Oreal True Match Foundation and the NYX Total Control Foundation. I'm going to mix them together because this one's too light and this one's a bit too dark. I will list all the colours that I'm using down below as well as everything else that I'm using. I'm going to be using a damp Real Technique sponge, so it's got the slant on one side and the pointed end on one side. Off with the NYX foundation, so I give it a bit of a shake and then I just put a few drops all over my face. Not too much because I'm going to be mixing it with the L'Oreal foundation. So with that one I take a pump and a little bit and push it into the skin. So I'm using pouncing motion, so I'm just going like this. I'm not going in round circular motions or anything like that. So now I'm just smoothing everything over. What's really good about using a damp sponge is it can't look cakey because it's going to literally just soak up whatever else is just sitting on your face. For concealer, I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Concealer. A lot of people compare this to the Tarte Shape Tape, which I actually haven't tried. But this one is a really, really good concealer and it's not expensive at all, and I'm going to blend it with the same sponge. So I'm using the flat side. I will use the pointy side when I get into some areas of my eyes. So to start off on the under eyes, I look up using the flat side because you can see how it creates that line there, which is what you want because it's going to make the eyes, everything look more lifted and up. So I'm just going back and forth, left and right in pouncing motions. And I look up when I'm doing this because I don't want it to settle into any lines. So now in this inner bit is where I'm going to use the pointy side and also on my eyelid as well. Now I'm going to set my under eyes first, and I'm using the Makeup Revolution. It's a coconut scented baking powder. So I'm going to bake with this as well as set, but for right now I'm just going to set my eyes first. Using the JH07 brush, which is just a tapered brush, and I'm going to set by patting it. I'm not rubbing it, and I am looking up when I'm doing this and doing the same thing left to right like you did with the sponge. So I'm also going to set my eyelids with that. I'm also going to set my chin and upper lip and forehead as well. Now I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless powder. This is shade 120, which is a little bit too light for me, but I'm going to make it work when I do the bronzer and blush and stuff. So I'm just setting wherever I didn't put the baking powder. I know I probably look white as a ghost right now, but it does come together at the end once I've got everything else on. Now I'm going to use the Morphe 9BZ palette for my bronzer. I'm going to use these two shades here. I'm going to mix them together. And I'm using the JH05 brush, which is a really, really great brush for contouring. I just mix them both together. I start on my forehead and temples, and I'm going back and forth and then round circular motions to blend it out. And I'm going to do the cheekbones as well. So I'm staying up, not lower by my jawline. I'm staying up and just in this region here. And I'm also going to do my jawline as well. So it's going to give a really nice shape to the face. I went ahead and did my brows off camera. If you do want to see an in-depth brow tutorial, I can do that. It is a whole other process in itself. It takes forever. I'm going to bake my face. So I'm going to use the same baking powder as before, what I used to set my under eyes. And I'm using the sponge as well from earlier. So I'm going to start by doing the baking on my jawline. So I'm using the flat side of the sponge to do this. I'm also going to use the pointy side now and bake my under eyes, because when I do my eyeshadow I am going to get a bit of fallout, so this will help catch it and then I can just wipe it away when I'm done. And I'm also going to bake right here on my forehead because I always get very oily there, so I like to do that. I'm going to be doing my nose contour now. This is something that I've only recently started doing. My nose has always been something of an insecurity for me, and I'm using the JH33 brush for this. It's actually an eyeshadow brush, but I like using it for contouring. Using the same bronzer palette as earlier, I'm going to take this shade here. I just take and I just start here, then go up near the brows, and then down in the bit that I do not like. I'm using the baking powder again, and I'm using the JH10 brush, which is a small little angle brush like this. I think Jaclyn did make this for baking purposes, so that's what I'm using it for. I take a little bit and I put it right down the bridge of my nose. Just a little line like that, and then on the sides of my nose. Now, and I'm going to use the Morphe Jaclynhillmorphe Favorite palette, which came out, like, how long ago was that? 4 or 5 years maybe? That's what I'm thinking. So it looks like this. Everyone probably knows this palette. I'm going to start off with this shade here, which is the second row, second shadow from the left. And I'm using the JH30 brush, which is a huge transition brush. So I'm going to put this as my transition shade. And I'm basically going to go from inner to outer corner. I'm not really sticking in any area. I'm just going back and forth, and then going in round circular motions back and forth as well. And I always raise my eyebrows up, especially in this step, to make sure that I'm getting into every little nook and cranny. Now I'm going to use the JH31 brush, which is another blending brush. That's what I love about this collection, is the amount and variation of blending brushes is excellent. So I'm going to be using this shade, which is a very nice sort of muted brown shade. And I'm going to put this in the crease. Same thing, I'm going back and forth first, and I'm not moving up high or staying down low right now. I'm literally just staying in the crease, going back and forth, and then now I'll go in little circular motions and blend it out. I'm going to go back with the original transition brush. I do this pretty much every step of the way, and I just make sure there are no harsh lines that I'm buffing. Each time I add a color on, I buff it out. Using the exact same brush as before, the JH31, I'm going to take this shade now, which is similar to the other one that we used, but just a little bit deeper. So I like to layer them, especially if you've got access to the whole palette. You may as well use as much as you want. The more the merrier. And I'm doing exactly what I did before, placing it in the exact same spot. I just feel like doing this, even though they're all similar shades, together, buffed out, they look beautiful. Like I said before, going back in with that first original brush, there is nothing left on it, just blending it out again. Now I'm using the JH35, which is yet another blending brush, but it's a little bit more flat and shorter, which is exactly what I need for right now. I'm going to take this beautiful chocolatey shade here. Now this one I'm going to put in that lower outer part of my lid. Again, I'm raising my eyebrows when I do this. So I'm just patting it, I'm not rubbing or anything right now. I just want it on there first. Now it's on there, I will just very small little circular motions to blend it out, and I'm not bringing it all the way in, I'm staying out in the depth of the outer corner for this one. I'm going to go in with the brush that I used before, which was for my crease, and I'm just going to buff that out. As I said before, I will always go back in with that huge first transition brush, buff over everything. Now I'm going to be using this shade on my lid, and it's sort of like a taupey bronze shade. I love it. And I'm going to use the JH41 brush, which is like a flat shader brush, and I'm going to spray my brush with Fix Plus for this one. So I'm going to pick up the shade on my brush first, and then this is MAC Fix Plus. So I'm going to do a few sprays, and then I go back in before I put it on my lid, and just so you can see on the brush how it looks. Now I'm going to pull my eye taut when I do this, because it just makes it so like metallic when I let go of it, as you can see. And I'm putting this all over my lid. I start at the inner corner, and then I go in the outer corner, and I almost carve out my crease with this as well. I go back and forth like this, and then I go like that, making sure that it's all covered. And that's it. Now you have to let this dry if you're using Fix Plus. That is the key to it. If you go and try and blend it right now, it's going to be very choppy because it's still a little bit tacky. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to wipe off the bake, and I'm using the same brush that I used to set my under eyes. I'm just going to wipe that off. Now I'm going to do my eyeliner, and I'm using the Maybelline Blackest Black Gel Liner, and I'm using the brush that it comes with in the packaging. Eyeliner is so difficult because like so many people have a different way of doing it. While I'm waiting for the lash glue to dry, I'm going to use the NYX Worth the Hype Mascara. This is a black shade. And I'm going to put this on my natural lashes just so when I put the false ones together, they just combine. But I'm only doing a very thin layer. I'm going to apply my lashes now. I always look down in the mirror when I'm doing this. And I barely place it on there. It's just, if a wind hit me right now, it would blow away. That's how loosely it's on there. And then I start at the outer corner, push that in. There's hair all over it. Then I take the inner corner and do the same thing. And then I squeeze my real ones and the fake ones together right at the root of the lashes. And then I always just go over the band and make sure everything is set down. So the whole top half of the eyes are done. I'm now going to go onto the lower part of my eyes. And I'm going to use the JH38 brush, which is a small little pencil brush. This is this shade, which is that muted brown shade that we use. I'm going to pick that up and run it along my lower lash line, all the way from inner to outer corner. And I'm going to use the JH43, which is a flat definer brush. This is the shade that we used in the outer corner, that chocolatey shade. And I'm going to put this very tightly in my lower lash line. So I'm going to use the MAC Definitely Black Eye Kohl. Put this in my waterline.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby. Are you helping Mummy to look pretty? I'm going to go back in with the flat definer brush. It has nothing left on it. I just want to blend the eyeshadow because when you use a creamy eye kohl, some of it does fall down on your skin. So you just want to make sure that you blend that in with the powder. I take that pencil brush again with nothing left on it and just again buff it out. Make sure that it's all blended out. So I'm going to mix these top two shades because I like the shades of both, so I'm just going to mix them together. And I'm going to put that on my brow bone, starting at the arch and then going down. So I'm going to use the same mascara and put it on my lower lash line. So for lips, I'm going to use the MAC Satin lipstick in the shade Cherish. It's a really, really nice nude. For gloss, I'm going to use the Colourpop gloss in Neat Freak. So now I'm just going to set my brows with some clear brow gel. I always do this right at the end because so for blush I'm going to use Makeupgeek Spellbound, which is just a really nice dusty pink colour. And I'm using the JH04, which is an angled blush brush. I want to go kind of neutral with the blush because the eyes are quite dramatic. Highlight, I'm just going to use Becca Champagne Pop, and I'm using the JH09 highlighting brush. Oh yeah, that is good. Goes off the cheeks, chin, very tip of the nose. So I'm just going to set everything with MAC Fix Plus. You always want to look straight ahead when this is drying, because if you look up or down you're going to ruin your eyeshadow or your concealer. So that's the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video and if you want to see future videos from me, whether it be more beauty videos or some mum videos as well, I'm more than happy to do that. Just comment below and let me know what you'd like to see, and please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me if you could support me. Like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the bell to be notified for any of my future uploads as well. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!